Drought and desperation increasing now. It's over to my colleague Teja.
School kids in Mumbai seem to be doing for the drought situation in the country.
Absolutely, Uma, and it's inspirational for everybody because the plight of all these children here in Marathwada who are struggling to get even a glass of clean water has really moved students back in Mumbai, and they have been working on how to collect money. They have been, doing whatever they can, and in the past 6 months, they have collected a whopping 20 lakh rupees. Ketki Angre reports.
Well, many might think, what can children do? How can children help out when there's a drought in large parts of Maharashtra? But children here have shown that they can do, and not just in a small way, but in a big way. Children here at this school have raised over 20 lakh rupees over the last 6 months. You know, you've actually made this like a mission. What are the different avenues through which you've raised money?
So, 3 boys, Kabir, Saz and Behram, they sold t-shirts, and in a span of 4 days, they collected around 38,000 rupees, which they donated to the Nana Patekar Foundation. Every year, we have a social in the beginning of the year and at the end of the year. So, the last year's prefect body decided to donate 50,000 rupees to the Marathwada cause.
A lot of the difference seems to have been made by a presentation that was conducted here in school.
When we saw that presentation, the whole idea of reality hitting us, of us realizing how big certain people's problems are compared to ours. The biggest problem we have is turning in assignments or giving 2 tests the next day. But here there are kids of our age fighting to just survive, fighting to get a glass of water. And that's what actually moved us to do something about this. We took the problem as something that was our problem as well. And when something becomes your problem, you want to deal with it no matter what happens in any way you possibly can.
So they showed a small clip of this girl in a village where farmer suicide was rampant. And she had a tire and she had a rope at home. And she'd watch that every day when she saw her dad leave for work. And she'd keep an eye on it to make sure that her father wouldn't attempt suicide as well. And one day, after about 2-3 days, she noticed that the rope and the tire were missing. So she flew into a panic because she obviously assumed the worst. And she ran to the field, and then she saw that her dad had actually made a swing out of that for her. I felt like if it was my father, how would have I felt? You know, there's so many kids who lose their parents. It's not only the parents who are so affected by the drought, it's also the entire family. And it's a loss for everybody. It's not only one person that dies, it's many that die with them.
And, you know, there is this general impression that urban children are disjointed from the reality of rural India, particularly in the case of, say, the drought.
This misconception that children today don't know or don't care enough about what's happening just a couple kilometers away from them, I don't agree with, is simply because, like he said, the enthusiasm with which we take causes like this and the way we treat them, like simple things like playing No Water Holy. So things like that, not just in the education system, but also in the person that you are, when that becomes like a part of you, it really shows that city children, despite the fact that they aren't exposed to the same harsh conditions, they're still aware of what's happening.
And each of their contributions is certainly putting in that extra drop in the ocean that, you know, everyone is trying to fill, particularly with the problem of Marathwada. Children who've had to leave school, drop out of school, help their families, help their parents, only because they do not have enough water to even drink. Back to you.
And students of Maharashtra, students in Bombay particularly, are not unaffected by the state of affairs around them. Students in certain schools in Bombay have contributed funds, contributed money to raise for the people of Marathwada. A certain school has even given up or donated its prize money from winning a hockey match.
Why did you think that the idea of t-shirts was something that would work?
Because we just want, like as you can see, we've made a message, we put a message on the t-shirt along with Marathwada Relief. So besides raising money, if people just wear the t-shirt enough and, like, you know, just go on with their daily lives, it can also show people, like, you know, it can introduce them to the concept of like Marathwada Relief, and it can, and then they themselves can do some research about it and be moved like how we were moved.
People had mixed feelings. Like some people asked me, like they didn't think that the money was actually going to go to like the NAM Foundation or to Marathwada, and they thought that they were hesitant to give the money because they thought that it'll be like siphoned along the way or something. But then they asked us questions, and we assured them that, like, we told them that the money was going to go to the NAM Foundation, and in the end we convinced them, and then they supported us by buying a t-shirt.
And one of the contributions also came from the football team. You all won the tournament, you all had prize money. Why did you all decide to give it all away?
It started when Mrs. Isaac showed us that presentation about the condition, and our PE teacher, Mrs. Ansari, also gave us the idea of donating it. And the team, I think, collectively just decided to give the money for a good cause because they needed it more than we did.
But the thing with kids especially is the minute you make them realize that something's going wrong, kids don't stand for injustice. We don't take it as accepted. It's not, we don't agree that, okay, because it's happening, it's wrong. If we see something wrong, we try to change it. And I think that's what happened in school here as well.
It's not only the farmer who has to face it, it's the entire family that is burdened because they are completely stuck. Like after the farmer has passed away, like wives aren't acknowledged as farmers, so they don't receive the claim. And so they are completely helpless. For them, there's no way forward. And just watching their tears is just something that just moves us so much because we're so comfortable here. You know, we're in a school environment. Our biggest trouble is not getting an assignment done on time, getting yelled at by somebody. We've not really experienced like a life or death crisis, which is what they went through.
So the fact that we raise money by t-shirts or the social or whatever, it showed our need to, just help them out and do whatever little we can to help how many other people we can in Marathwada.